Good afternoon. I'm so excited to be introducing our next guest, Anna Quigley. And Anna has a very, very special story. She's a very dear friend. And we've known each other not for, lifetimes, but it seems like lifetimes when you connect with someone that you resonate with and that is sharing a similar path. Without further ado, and Anna, welcome to our program.
So much.
It's so great to have you here.
It's truly an honor.
What I'd like you to do is to start first with what happened. All of a sudden, how did your life change from being, quote, normal to that experience of, oh, really? Me?
Well, you're right in that it did just happen all of a sudden. I had been preparing for my annual family Christmas party, and typical me overdid things, lifting. Never. Lifting too many tables and schlepping this, and the kind of pièce de résistance was loading 3 ice chests of ice into my car to get to the house.
Superwoman,
my God, I can do it all. And just with that last lift and twist, which is you never want to do anyway, I just felt something happened. And I wasn't in pain, but I knew something in my back.
Did it feel like, your back? Okay.
Something in my back was not quite right. The next couple of weeks, my back seemed to be okay. After the first of the year, I had a final appointment to see the chiropractor. I thought, I don't think I even really need to go. But as I kind of threw my leg over and climbed out of my chair at work, I'm like, uh-oh, something's amiss. Got to the chiropractor's appointment, and in a rush, actually, instead of the non-force, he used the little metal plunger and whack, whack, whack at the small of my back, and I could barely walk out of there.
Oh, wow.
I thought I was going to end up in the emergency room. Obviously, at that point, I knew I needed to get to the doctor. This started a process of about 3 months trying to figure out what was going on.
And excuse me for interrupting you, but
Of
when you
course.
say the doctor, are you talking about, did you think I have to see an orthopedic, I have to see my general practitioner?
Well, with the HMO, I had to go to my primary care first.
Yes.
So I did, and he's like, oh, no big deal, no problem. We're going to, we'll do some tests and we'll check it out. They called me, the office called me and said, oh, yeah, we're going to send you to a pain specialist and they'll put cement in your back.
Cement?
I'm like, what? Yeah, because
I'm not a building.
They
could
see that there were some fractures, and unfortunately, I had 4 compression fractures in my lower back. So at this point, I was barely able to, get around. I researched the vertebroplasty just in case, because it was something I wasn't aware of, but got myself to a back specialist, and he's like, well, here's some options. There's some meds we can give you that'll build your bones back up. It goes, I want to make sure there's nothing else going on. And bless his heart, he sent me to an endocrinologist. But he said, yeah, let's just make sure. And I got an appointment within a week with the endocrinologist. She said, well, tell me your story. And she looked at me and she goes, no, you did not do this much damage by lifting too much. Something's going on.
Smart woman, thank you.
She saved my life, literally. She put her little detective hat on, and we went through every kind of blood test, urine, you name it, I tested for things. So when the blood test came back, there was one result that was an absolute indicator of what the problem was. It's called an M spike. It's a absolute indicator of a cancer called multiple myeloma, which is fairly unusual. It's related to leukemia. It's in that family because it's a blood cancer.
Okay.
It's a cancer of the plasma. So what they were doing in my instance were munching away. I called them my little Miss Pac-Man, were munching away at my spine, at my vertebrae. And causing a compression fractures. And it wasn't the lifting, they were already weakened. So the myeloma had been working in my body for who knows how long. Could have
Okay.
been years.
So it had nothing to do with lifting or exercise.
Lifting was actually the gift
Yes, because
that
it was the sign that you had to
got
do
me to the
something.
doctor.
Thank God.
If I hadn't done anything kind of that
It would have
crazy,
continued to go on.
it would have continued to do the damage until potentially more.
Okay, so now you get a prognosis, or you get someone's telling you that you have blood cancer. What do you do?
This is interesting. I was a little bit numb, but I wasn't really scared. It was just like, okay, what are we going to be? What's coming? What's this? What's this about? Again, I had no history of being sick with anything, and I wasn't willing to be sick.
And
so
you weren't afraid of that. You just wanted to get more information.
I wasn't, oddly.
Wow.
I didn't feel scared. Didn't I didn't feel like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I didn't know what I was dealing with. So I went to an oncologist, and they did a bone marrow biopsy, which not the most fun thing I've ever done in my life. More blood tests, and the bone marrow biopsy absolutely solidified the diagnosis that this was multiple myeloma. When I looked at when I found out what it was, when I looked at the websites, at that point were saying you get about 5 years. That's not true.
Great.
That is absolutely not true. And to go to the punchline, my doctors, my oncologists now really considered this a chronic illness and not anything that you can't survive. There have been so many extraordinary improvements and gains in treatment since 2015. But even with that, I know people that have lived with this disease 15, 16, 17 years. So it's manageable.
Thank God.
But I still wanted to be aggressive in my treatment, because my way of thinking was, we're getting this out of my body.
Yes.
Whatever we have to do. I felt surrounded by support, and it just continued to show up in ways I still have trouble talking about.
Support from up there or here?
Both. I felt support all the way around. And a friend of mine was a nurse, and I mentioned this to her. So I'm like, okay, what do you know about this? I have no idea. Former nurse. She just happened to be very close friends with the woman who runs all of the clinical trials in the U.S. for multiple myeloma. I've never heard of this disease before. And here I have an acquaintance that lives 5 minutes from me who knows someone that has been in this industry. And so she hooked me up with the West Coast person that manages it. And the conversation went, get yourself to a research facility. I picked up the phone Wednesday night at 5 o'clock and got, we just so happen to have an opening Friday morning at 9 with like the top oncologist at UCSD. To walking into UCSD to a cheerleading team. We're going to get this. We're going to take care of this.
You said, I'm fighting this. I am going to live. Yes. And the universe kept rewarding you by bringing you all of these, guided by angels, all of these great medical teams.
And it's continued through the whole process. The first month of treatment was life-changing, truly, for me.
In what way?
The M spike level that found that was a flag for the disease was at 3.4.
Where should it have been for a normal person? Oh, wow.
0.
Okay.
And the first month I was on the biochemo drugs, and I was just like, please, let's get it down to 2. Let me see. Let me have a sign. Let me know that I can do this.
Yes.
This is progress. After only 1 month on the biochemo, I went from a 3.4 M spike to 0.7. I burst into tears. It's the first time I really got emotional. And honestly, I didn't believe it.
What did your physician say?
She laughed. She goes, you didn't believe the numbers, did you? And I said, no, I didn't. She goes, they're thrilled.
Is this the first time you felt it and you let yourself go?
Absolutely. Up until then, I was
Did you cry?
a little bit stoic. No. I didn't. I'll tell you when I've cried in the process is when people showed up, when the human angels showed up to help me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that was my big lesson.
Yes.
I didn't know there were
You
so
didn't know
many.
how to receive, did you?
I've never been good at either asking for help or letting people help me. I was raised to be independent. You have to do it yourself. Don't ask for help from the time I was little. So it was, badge of honor. I don't need help.
So through
Just
this,
showing up.
the whole process and the prognosis, and tell me where you are today medically. What do your physicians say?
By October, this was June, I started treatment. By the middle of October, the bone marrow transplant showed not a trace of myeloma in my body. So my doctor did amazing things. We did the right treatment. I listened to my
Inner
instincts,
voice.
but I also had my own little program going in the background.
Tell me about that.
How
How did you get through this spiritually, emotionally?
I have a really strong spiritual background. I've spent most of my life meditating,
On a path.
doing visualization. The one good thing that I got from the first oncologist that was a little patronizing was a visual image of what this cancer looked like. A little red patch of clump of flowers in a multicolored field. Well, that was the basis for the start of my visualization. So I went in with shovels and was digging it out. And I had drones going over in my
Beautiful.
every day looking for
What great
things.
visuals.
And I'm digging them out, and I'm no toxins because I didn't want any more toxins. So I was tending my field every single day. I was working on every other visualization.
Pulling it all in.
I have a filter system that still runs that's taking all the bad blood cells out, that I have just mentally keeping
How
my system
beautiful.
clean.
Well, now after going through
overwhelms.
all of this, and thank you so much for sharing your path, if you have any words of wisdom for anyone in our audience that has gone through any dark night of the soul or any life-changing event, how has this changed you or impacted your life today? Or has it?
Oh, absolutely, without question. I know this was it was a hard way to learn to
Yes.
allow people
Well,
into
no one
my
would
life.
embrace that and say, bring it on.
No one would. No, absolutely. But I also wasn't learning the lesson of letting people in. Really learning to not only receive but to ask, that it's not weak, that there's a strength. And so many of the people,
Beautiful.
especially those close to me, have said, you know what a gift it
Yes.
is to us for you to let us help you.
Beautiful.
I hadn't ever really looked at it that way. I didn't think I had any courage. I still work on having the courage to do what I feel like I'm here on this planet to do. But I realize I do have a courage that can move me forward. I just have to allow it and tap into it
And listen to it.
and listen to it. I did have the courage and the strength to say no to physicians, say no to people that were trying to move, well-intended, moving me in one direction where I knew that my body and my soul was not the right path for me. To anybody, listen to your heart, listen to your body. I've lived in this body.
So thank you, Anna, for being here and telling your story
Thank you for
And-
letting me.
and giving me and helping me with my own inner courage.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
That's what it's about, sharing your stories.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor.